Canadian border was a hotbed for the illegal cross-border drug smuggling trade. Asher wouldn't be surprised if his partner's highly trained nose was picking up all kinds of suspicious smells right now. He knew a little something himself about sensing that something wrong was going down but being unable to do a fool thing about it. Any drug smugglers they managed to bust and put away in this mission would be a happy bonus. Their focus was finding those 3 stolen bloodhound puppies. The smell of hot cheese, bacon grease, and decent coffee wafted toward him from the Olympic Snacks and Sandwiches food truck on his right. He aimed for it, trying not to look too eager, and joined the end of the line. 2 weeks earlier, he and Spark had been searching for the puppies in a network of caves in North Cascades National Park with his PN canine colleagues. The search hadn't turned up any puppies, but they had found dog fur and evidence the bloodhounds had been in the caves recently. They'd also found a crumpled receipt for the very food truck Asher was now striding toward. What's more, Spark had detected drug residue on it, solidifying the theory that whoever had taken the puppies was involved in the drug trade. Someone involved in the theft of the puppies had been in this area, and maybe even stood in this line not more than a couple of weeks ago. But did that mean that whoever stole the bloodhounds was somehow linked to the people working at this food truck? Or just that someone linked with the theft had been in this area? He didn't know, but either way, he was here to find out. He glanced around. "Is the line always this slow?" he muttered to no one in particular.
"Yeah, pretty much, but the food's worth it."
A voice came from behind him. He looked back to see a grizzled man with calloused hands who smelled of cigarettes and salt water. The man looked down at Spark and smiled.
"That's a beautiful dog you got there."
Asher felt the hint of a genuine smile cross his face.
"Thanks,"
Asher said and scratched his beard.
"Smart as a whip, too. But you can thank my wife for that."
Funny how heavily and uneasily the word wife sat on his tongue.
"Is that so?"
the man asked. He reached out and scratched Spark behind the ears. Spark wagged his tail approvingly.
"Oh, yeah,"
Asher said.
"She taught him every trick he knows. If it was up to her, we'd have a dozen more of them."
The line moved forward. Chief Finelli had once told him that the best undercover stories contained a small kernel of truth. Spark was absolutely crazy about Peyton. Truth was, Asher was hard-pressed to think of a canine trainer and all-around person he admired more. It wouldn't exactly be hard to pretend he cared about her. But it had been 5 years since Asher's disastrously failed attempt at a marriage had ended in divorce. That relationship hadn't even lasted 2 years. His wife, Lucy, had traveled a lot for work, along with a colleague who Asher later discovered she'd had an affair with. It had hurt him deep in a way he couldn't even explain, because his own dad had done the exact same thing to his mom. Asher had been 10 when he discovered his dad had cheated on his mom. Then his father had left them to marry Mara's mother and start a new family without him. Still, he'd been willing to forgive Lucy and work past it. Instead, Lucy had accused him of being controlling and paranoid. She'd practically told him that he was unlovable. She was married to that same colleague now, leaving Asher with the knowledge he didn't have it in him to be anybody's husband. And now his boss was saddling him with a make-believe wife? Lord, he prayed silently.
"I'm really gonna need your help with this one."
"What can I get you?" a woman's voice asked. Asher looked up to realize he'd been so lost in thought he hadn't even noticed that he'd reached the front of the line. The woman behind the counter had a friendly face and brown curly hair with gray growing in at the roots. Asher always made it a point to notice everything while on a case. The smallest detail could come in handy later.
"2 coffees, please,"
Asher said.
"Large. And if you can throw some cream and sugar in a bag on the side, that would be appreciated. My wife is the kind of gal who knows exactly what she wants, and if I try to mix it myself, I might get it wrong."
The woman chuckled.
"Smart man," she said. "How long you been married?"
"Few weeks," Asher said.
"Hopefully it hasn't been long enough for me to make too many mistakes yet."
The woman laughed again. Then she nodded at the large red maple leaf pin on his lapel.
"You Canadian?"
she asked, and poured 2 steaming hot coffees into takeaway cups.
"Yes, ma'am,"
he said.
"My wife's American. We've got a really sweet boat we bought from her cousin and have been running boat tours off the coast of Vancouver for the past couple of years. We're looking at expanding into some whale watching and cross-border trips."